Yo, what's going on, y'all? Your boy TreeLyfeJay is back at it again with some more Pokemon Draft League content for y'all. Today, we're going to have our week 1 battle against Royzer. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Royzer. If you're watching this, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And he's going to be the coach of the Grandiose Gengars. And I don't know if y'all looking at what I'm looking at, but this man got some, boy, he got some demons over there on that side. My guy drafted probably one of the better electric terrain teams I've seen in a while. So I'm just going to do a quick little rundown of his team. As you can see, he's got Kieran Black. We all know what this thing does. This thing is a beast of a wall breaker. Super scary mon. You got, of course, the speedy Taco Coco. As you can see, I've been tinkering around with the EVs here and there because I'm trying to, mess with some stuff, trying to see if I can outspeed certain things here and there. Great offensive pivot to pair with Tornado's Therian as well. Two great offensive pivots to try and pivot around and get things like Kieran Black in, as well as these other threats down here. He's got the Ting-Lu, super fat piece of, I'm not even, I'm going to refrain from saying what I want to say, but he's got the big fat Ting-Lu, Mega Blastoise, super solid wall breaker. And of course, you got to have an electric terrain team. You got to have some mons with Quark Drive. So as you can see, he's got the Iron Leaves as well, which I'm definitely going to be trying to watch out for. Super big threat. Mesprit, we all, well, I'm saying we all know, but we all know. Very good support mon. Can throw up stealth rocks. Of course, pivot along with Tornadus and Tapu Koko as well. So that's going to be annoying. Hitmonlee, very strong wall breaker for him, especially with Unburden. If he activates the electric seed in the terrain, best believe we are going to be having some trouble dealing with that. But don't worry, we're going to be prepped. We're going to be as well prepped as we possibly can be for this team. And to finish off his draft, he got annoying as all hell Goldingo. I don't even want to dive into that. And Swalot, who is not even a real Pokemon. So I'm going to give you guys a brief rundown of the team, and then I'm gonna hop right into the battle right after that. So first off, we got Botan, Fluttermane running the specs this week, because if you look at choice specs, Moonblast and Shadow Ball, and look at his team, look at this. He's not switching into it very much, honestly. He's gonna have a hard time. Even the Ting-Lu, which has the ability to lower my special attack, he's not gonna appreciate switching into that over and over and over again. Thunderbolt for coverage to catch Tornadus if he ever decides to switch it in, or the Mega Blastoise as well. And then lastly, I'm running Hex because, as you will see, a lot of my mons are running Toxic or some way of statusing the opponent. So I'm going to use that to my advantage and run Hex as the last move. Next up, Torkoal, of course, we're going to run Sun this week to try and make Botan the most, he's not going to be able to stop it when the sun is up. It's basically what I'm going to use to counter his Quark Drive mons and his Unburdened mons, basically outspeeding those, which, by the way, in the sun, Fluttermane does outspeed max speed Unburdened Hitmonlee, and also is outspeeding Iron Leaves in the terrain as well. So, or if terrain is up, I'm going to outspeed it in the sun. You know what I'm saying? So trust, we are going to have the countermeasures best as possible. But typical defensive Torkoal, Stealth Rock, Lava Plume, Body Press, and Toxic. As I mentioned, I'm trying to get folks status so I can make my hexes that much more powerful, running full-on physically defensive set. And also, I didn't explain the EVs. I don't know if I did, but, max special attack, enough EVs to outspeed, I believe, Hitmonlee and Iron Leaves, of course, in their terrain. So, moving on, we got Magellan, the Skuntank. After doing a lot of mocks, I decided to go ahead and run Air Balloon because this is going to be my best way of countering Ting-Lu. I really do believe he's going to end up bringing a set that only involves running Earthquake because it just hits so well into my team, and he can run other moves to pretty much keep my mons weak. He can run Spikes, Rest Talk as well. Hopefully I don't run into that, but Knockoff to get off any items, Defog, of course, to get rid of any hazards. Toxic is there to, status anybody. And Taunt, of course, to stop things like Ting-Lu from setting up spikes or clicking Rest, or any of his other support mons from clicking their support moves, respectively. So moving forward, we got Kaido, the Gouging, the Gouge. I'm running a defensive set because honestly, defensive gals works really well into his team. It's kind of going to be a good way of slowing down his Kirim in a sense. Now, mixed Kirim or especially offensive Kirim is going to be a little bit of trouble. But this, I think between this and Magellan, I think I can kind of not have to worry about that. Plus the speed of my other Mons, tied into this as well. I think I'll be just fine dealing with Kirim, honestly. But we're pretty much running off almost max defensive set. We got a little bit of Spadef, so we can kind of tank Gholdengo just a tad bit better, which honestly, it really is good into this team, especially seeing as I'm not running leftovers on this. But we're running Heat Crash. Going to be our strongest hitting move. I actually wanted to run Flare Blitz. And you know what? I'm not even going to lie. We might just make an on-the-fly change because this doesn't do well going into his Tinglu, because Tinglu is like super fat and heavy, and I think I can afford to make the change. Like I can maybe run Fire Fang. Fire Fang is just as effective as Heat Crash, honestly, and like Kaido is going to be in the sun most of the time, so this thing is still going to be like relatively strong. But the only thing is Fire Fang misses, and then of course got Flare Blitz, which can obviously oops, sorry, I almost zoomed too far out there. Like I said, y'all, no edits over here. So keeping it real. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this last minute change. I don't want to miss Fire Fang, and plus since I'm running Morning Sun already, I don't mind running that. Taking recoil on this, so I think I'll be fine. So yeah, Flare Blitz, Morning Sun, Burning Bulwark, to be able to scout for opponents' moves and be able to burn them on contact if they decide to touch me. And last move, Sunny Day, to kind of just have a secondary Sunsetter on the team, just as emergency Sunsetter if need be. Next up, we got Viola, Lilligant. I'm running Swords Dance Bluckberry because, as you know, or if you guys didn't know, when you use the move Natural Gift, Bluckberry allows that move to turn into a fire type move, which will be our way of hitting Gholdengo. So I'm running Natural Gift, Natural Gift, Solar Blade, Close Combat, and Swords Dance to try and break through his team with this as well. So we got a lot of hard-hitting mons that are going to be, we're going to be bearing down on this team as best as possible, as long as we can position ourselves in the best way possible to get in those good matchups. And speaking of positioning ourselves, lastly, we're going to have Eno, who I finally decided to name. I know I was going to ask you guys, or I asked you guys for name suggestions. I went ahead and just named this guy Eno because, I mean, if we're going to do One Piece references, we might as well make the literal fastest electric dog named after the electric god, Eno. So, hey, there's that. So, I'm running a very interesting set here. We got recommended this set after running a mock, and I think it's going to do pretty well. We're going to run Magnet Rise, Toxic, Volt Switch, Flamethrower. Magnet Rise is, of course, to stop Tinglu from clicking Earthquake, or any Mon, for that matter, from clicking Earthquake. And I'm pretty confident. I think he's not going to run any other attacking move outside of that, unless he just brings a random choice band Tinglu, which I really hope he doesn't do. But I have a feeling he's going to bring that. We got Toxic, of course, to kind of catch the Tinglu off guard, be able to status it as well, to go along with helping out Botan with clicking Hex. And this, of course, applies for other mons as well. Volt Switch to pivot out. That way we can put ourselves in better matchups. Flamethrower, last coverage move. It's boosted in the sun, so hey, why not? So that's the rundown of the team. My opponent is just about ready, and I will go ahead and see you guys at the battle.
All right, so bam. So I know we were supposed to do this live, but for whatever reason, my phone did not record any of the video at all when I did this live. It just took about like the last 5 seconds, and that was it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man. So we're doing this post-com. I'll try to do live for the next one, hopefully, if my phone allows it. If not, we'll just do post-com from here on. Or maybe I don't know. We'll figure something out. But looking at the guys' team, honestly, I pretty much expected everything except the Mega Blastoise. Honestly, I was not expecting that on his end. Especially seeing as Mega Blastoise can't use Shell Smash in this draft. So I was expecting maybe the Iron Lees or at the very least, Hitmonlee. But as you'll see, it wasn't too much crazy. I'll set the speed to slow just so we can try to keep up with the moves here and there. And I will pause it here and there to try and give you guys some sort of like insights to my moves. So I was like, okay, if I'm not mistaken, I think what I decided to lead off with was the Skuntank, just because it looked like it was going to go so well into everything. And actually led off with the Mega Manetric. So immediately I knew he wasn't going to stay in with this, so I decided to go for the Mega and click Toxic here, knowing that the Tinglu was coming in. And at the very least, if he decided to stay in with Torn and click U-turn or something, I would have Toxic that. So I get the Toxic off on the Tinglu, which is great, wearing this thing down for the future. And I decided to switch out into my Magellan to absorb Earthquake or, whatever this is going for. I kind of figured he would go for hazards as he gets up his rocks, and you see next turn I go for the knock and knock off the citrus berry, which wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe like a chesto berry. I'm gonna pause it here just to try to keep up. And as you can see, this Tinglu will not be able to touch me at all, as I kind of figured. So when I explained the team prep why I was running air balloons, for this very reason, because as you'll see, this Tinglu is not touching me, as I'm able to get rid of the hazards, and he's just gonna whirlwind me into my Torkoal. And I'm like, great, we got the sun up. It's time to start doing some work. Something's about to happen, basically. Something's gonna switch in. So he goes in the top of Coco. I'm like, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and use this chance to go ahead and double all, mainly because I didn't want to take an Earthquake from the Tinglu into my Torkoal. Just on the off chance he did outspeed me and decided to click Earthquake. I didn't want to take that damage, so I opted to go into Skuntank. And then right here, I decided to double back out into my Mega Manetric. Pretty much just ensuring that I don't take a whole lot of damage from like a Thunderbolt or anything like that, or even a Dazzling Gleam, or maybe he just wants to click U-turn to try and pop my balloon. However, as you'll see, he does decide to go for Reflect, and I find out he screams, which is annoying, but not like the biggest concern, as I can defog them away, as I'm able to get off a Toxic on top of Coco and try to wear this down a little bit further. So I go for the Flamethrower here and get a nasty crit, which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like hindsight, it didn't matter. I feel like it's a bit crit because Tapu Koko could have been able to stay around and keep screens up a lot longer in this game. But because I have a Skuntank that can defog away this stuff, I don't think it was that big of a threat to me. So I don't know. I feel like it did matter, but I don't know. I just feel like at this point, with the Tapu Koko being toxic, it wasn't going to be able to get it basically wasn't going to keep up screens for like ever. So he goes for the Nature's Madness, cuts my HP to half, and now sitting at 11%, I'm sitting here thinking, the only thing he can do is just stay in. So I go for another Flamethrower onto the Tinglu. Does a nice solid 13, nothing crazy, and just watch him take toxic damage. Now I wanted to go for the Magnet Rise there, but the only thing I was worried about is if he decided to click Whirlwind, which would have sucked. But honestly, I should have stayed in Magnet Rise and just went ahead and shut off the tech. But I just do the safe play, go into Magellan, just in case he did something different. And this also gives me a chance to defog away the screens that are set up. So he goes into Kyurem. I'm already knowing this is bad for so many reasons. Because for one, this thing is behind screen, so he's more than likely a sub DD set, or he has DD somewhere, so I know that's coming. And in order to prevent this thing from freaking busting my team wide open like a can of biscuits, I tried my best to slow this thing down by clicking taunt, just to prevent any type of Dragon Dance shenanigans. He does get up a sub, which is annoying, but I'm like, it's not the end of the world. And I decided to stay in and take this Fusion Bolt and go for the defog so I can have a little bit better time breaking through this thing's sub. So we're at 50%. We still got all of our members, and we go ahead and swap out, allowed ourselves to kind of save Skuntank a little bit for later in case we need its aftermath ability to kick in. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to clear my throat. Coming down with a little bit of a cough, so forgive me if I'm constantly clearing my throat. But we go Torkoal here because I want to go ahead and try and tank everything this Kyurem goes for. And as you can see, this thing is still like, this is damn near max defense Torkoal, and it's just still taking 32. Like, brother, calm down. Your leftovers, like, why are you so strong? And so he goes for another Dragon Claw. Of course, I'm trying to get rid of this sub, make sure this thing is no longer a threat. I go for the body press and break the sub as the time ends. And I kind of had a feeling he would go and switch out because he couldn't kill this. So I make a ballsy play. And also I had a feeling he might have maybe wanted to go gold or something like that. So I have to go and get my rocks. And of course, this helps out for later because we see that this Torn is not heavy duty boots and neither is the Kyurem. So this is going to go a long way. So I opt to go into my Skuntank pretty much as a sack, not allowing anything else to take damage like that. and a lot of torn to pick up the kill. I go into my Mega Miniature because right now this thing looks great into this team. And as I go for the Volt Switch, he takes 41, pretty much confirming he is Assault Vest. And I'm going to go out into Kaido to tank the Heat Wave or whatever move he might have gone for, maybe a flying move like Air Slash or something like that. And as he goes into this, I'm going to click Flare Blitz on the Mega Evolved Blastoise, and this shit does 22 in the sun. Like, I know you're this. I mean, don't get me wrong. This thing is still like it's still Mega Blastoise, but like, and this is Gouge, but like, this is not even an offensively invested Gouge, and this shit still did 22. And as you'll see, I unfortunately get a nasty burn, and it's funny because like in the live com, I was like, dude, I do not care about this thing switching in. I was just going to get damaged regardless. So what I do next. I was kind of fearing the Dragon Pulse because the way he brought this in made me think, okay, he's obviously coming in to click Dragon Pulse. It did not dawn on me that he was going to maybe click Rapid Spin, as you'll see, which kind of makes me feel like it just made me look so much cooler this play. But I was like, sir, I really just wanted to block this Dragon Pulse that was coming towards me. As he opts to go into his Torn, I'm just going to click Shadow Ball because it doesn't matter who's Assault Vest. This thing's going to do a lot of damage, and I'm going to get something as a kill. And I go ahead as he switches back into the Blastoise and presumably get to his Torn to regen his HP back and scout for if I was Specs or not. I knock out the Mega Blastoise as he goes to Goldingo. And guys, I sat here and looked at this and was like, sir, even if you are Scarf, like, I really just want to stay in a Shadow Ball. But it was another reason that this was brought in that made me think, you know what, maybe I shouldn't stay in and click Shadow Ball. So I opt to switch here, go into my Torkoal, set up the sun one more time and try and see if we can get Bolton to go ahead and start sweeping as he goes for the Thunder Wave and misses, which doesn't really matter too much as you'll see he goes for the Hex and knocks me out the next turn anyway. And I knocks out the Torkoal, but I do get to keep the sun up for 7 turns. I go Flutter Mane right here, expecting to knock this thing out. And I knew for some particular reason that he brought this in and that it wasn't Scarf, obviously because he went for the Thunder Wave into the Hex. And as I click Shadow Ball with my Specs Flutter Mane, thinking I'm finna smack something. Look at this brother. Bro, like, this man took 45 from this thing. He proceeds to click and make it rain and knocks me out. Great prep by Royzer on your end. I was like, dude, this thing is strong. As you'll see, he says Flutter is a demon. Like, yes, this thing is strong, but bro. Oh, my God. So I go ahead and go into Viola, knock this thing out with the natural gift. As he goes Torn, it's looking like we're finna clean up this game, but I want to try to ensure the victory for sure with either Mega Manectric or by getting more damage on the Torn, so that way Viola can knock it out or knock out the Torn with either a Solar Blade or a close combat if it's low enough. I knew it wasn't going to be able to knock it out here, and I do believe Natural Gift fails if you don't have a barrier on you. So I opt to go into Kaido as he switches or doubles out into Tapu Koko, sacking it to the rocks. And I know he's going to go cure him at this point, and I know he's clicking Dragon Dance. And I was not going to bother clicking anything else but Flare Blitz. I knew he was going to go for Dragon Dance. I needed to get damage on this immediately. And as you'll see, he does just that. Goes for the Dragon Dance. I go for the Flare Blitz in the sun. This thing does 60 damage. This thing is strong as hell. I'm so happy to have this thing on my team. I know next turn he's going to try to attack me, so I go for the Burning Bulwark to protect myself. And as I do that, I do net the burn, all but ensuring I get the KO or the victory here. For whatever reason, guys, I decided to not go for a Morning Sun with the defense up, and I just go for another Flare Blitz. And I probably should have. What I should have done was Morning Sun and then gone for the Sunny Day again to try and boost myself. I don't know if that was the right play. Either way it goes, I tank the knockoff. I go for the Flare Blitz on the Torn, knocking out Royzer's last mon, ensuring my 3-0 victory over the Grandiose Gengars. So week 1 down in the books. We get our first dub, and hey, we moving, man. I don't want to get too much into anything else. Honestly, I know I'm not sure who my next opponent is next week, but you guys will know when I drop the next vid. I do hope y'all enjoyed this battle. Hope y'all enjoyed the commentary. I'll start. Forgive me for saying, but I'm gonna start posting little questions here and there just for you guys to ask and kind of interact with you all a little bit. This was a little last minute, as you can see, because I did not upload this over the weekend like I planned to. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, and I'm going to try and upload it, edit it tonight, and either upload it tonight or tomorrow. And then hopefully for the next battle, for the team builder and all that, I can get to ask some good questions and all that. And hopefully we can get a live battle, god dang it. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and take off. You guys have a wonderful week. Take care, and I'm out.